Alright, this is the coolest thing. Sometimes the rain can be a real pain, but sometimes you get some of the coolest shots. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Least Professional channel on YouTube. How's everybody doing today? So today we're in a cemetery. No clue what the name of the cemetery is. So basically we were out driving around, came up to around the Knox County, Ohio area. We're on our way up to Killbuck to check out a cemetery up there. So we're heading that way and just stumbled across this cemetery on the side of the road. It's a pretty good sized cemetery. But the cool part, and the whole reason why I stopped, was this statue right here. So I saw that statue and decided to check it out and see what else we could find while we're out here. So I want to take a minute to talk a little bit about the channel as well while we're out here looking for statues and that kind of thing. So essentially what I'm doing with the channel right now, I'm working on some improvements, some things. I've got some plans. So essentially what I've got planned moving forward is some more going around to different cemeteries and that kind of thing. Making this into more of a vlog, not really travel vlog. I think travel vlog's a little extreme since I don't travel that far and stay mostly in Ohio. But a cemetery style vlog, going around checking out places, finding interesting statues, interesting stories, and sharing those stories. My ultimate goal is going to be eventually to where I can find stories of things out in cemeteries that, for instance, J.W. Stanton here, and then do some research and find out about the history, and if there's something interesting, a good story to tell there, then making an entire video telling that story. So that's kind of what I got planned moving forward, just in case anybody was wondering, just because I know this is still a pretty new channel. There's still not much on it. We're still working on a lot of that stuff. So that's what I've got coming up, and we're gonna go see if we can find some other statues. All right, so we found this cool little statue over here. I've been trying to find different ones, things that I'm not used to seeing. So for instance, got this little dog right over here. So kind of a mean looking little dog there. But it's those kind of little things that I've been trying to find more and more of as I've been traveling around. There's some really interesting statues in cemeteries. And while I'm thinking about it, go down in the comments section and let me know, have you ever seen a really cool statue in a cemetery? Something that you saw and thought, wow, I can't believe that's in a cemetery. Just because there's so many out there, and if you pay attention, if you're out walking around, checking out a cemetery, you might see something like this little dog right here that just kind of sparks your interest, and it sparked mine. So I'm gonna grab some pictures of that and see what else we can find. All right, so we found another really cool one. This is the first time I've seen anything like this. So essentially, this stone right here is for a Leah Nicole Hostel, who, she was only 19, wasn't even 20 years old. But the way that they carved the stone with the angel coming out of it, I think looks really cool. This is the kind of picture perfect shot, and maybe even a story, something that I'll have to keep in mind and check out later. There's so many people out here, and I'm sure she hasn't been forgotten about being so recent. There's a lot of people out here who aren't quite as recent that I'm sure have been long forgotten about, and maybe don't even have anybody coming out to visit them or anything like that anymore, just because it's been so long ago. So this is another one I'm gonna get a couple of shots of. I think this is a really cool looking one, so I want to try and get a couple shots here, and then we'll see if we can find something else. Here's another really cool one, just as the sun came out though. Sometimes you're gonna wind up with a shot that isn't quite what you were thinking it was going to be. I'm kind of waiting for the sun to go back behind the clouds here as we were walking over, and the problem was it's casting shadows. I don't know how well that's coming out, because I can't see because the sun's in my eyes. But yeah, as we were walking over here, all of a sudden the sun came out from behind the clouds and the shadows started casting exactly where I was aiming for my shot here. So I'm kind of giving it a minute to see if it goes back behind the clouds. But this is a really cool one. Let me just show that again here. That's a guitar, which, I mean, who doesn't want to have a guitar on their grave, right? Of course, nobody wants to be dead, but when I die, I want to have something cool marking my grave. The idea would be that someday somebody like me would come along and see my grave and see something cool on it, decide to take a picture and maybe read a little bit up about me. Maybe I'll eventually leave something really cool for other people to see, hopefully this channel. As you can see, we're in a very, very backwoodsy place. Like, this is, when you think of country, this is probably the definition of country you think of. There's nothing for miles around. But yeah, something definitely to think about. Whenever you're trying to frame up a shot, you got to pay attention to where the light's at and where your shadow's at. If you're outside especially, that's the hardest part, because you can't control the sun necessarily. You can control indoor lights, you can turn lamps down, you can move them around. But when it comes to the sun, it's a big spotlight in the sky. So when you're taking a shot, if you're not paying attention, you can wind up in a situation where the sun is casting your shadow and you catch your shadow in the picture by accident. That's not always the worst thing, because you can crop it out and that kind of stuff, but you could wind up in a situation where it's not in a spot you can crop, and you don't realize it till you get home, start looking at the pictures. With digital cameras, of course, it's a little bit easier because you can see them right after you take them, but with the old film cameras, that was always a pain. I'm actually thinking about taking up a challenge that Nigel Jansen had set up, that he had done on his channel. But essentially the challenge was this: limit yourself to a certain number of shots. He did 5 shots for an entire day of hiking and checking out. You know, he had to find 5 perfect shots, and he could only hit the shutter button 5 times. So I've been thinking about doing the same kind of thing on this channel and finding a cemetery where I just say, okay, I have 5 total shots I can take in the cemetery. The only time that would be a problem is the times where I say, well, there's 10 statues here, which ones do I take a picture of? So I might up that a little bit. Make it 10 shots instead of 5, something like that. But the idea behind it is no retakes, because back in the film days, you didn't get retakes. You took the shot, and what shot you got was the shot that you got, and you didn't find out really until you developed the film. What especially sucked, I remember when I was a kid, one of my first cameras that I got was one of the little disposable cameras, and took an entire 32 pictures or whatever was in there, a lot that you could take. Sent it off, had to mail it off to get it processed, sent back, got the pictures back, and they were terrible. Some of that was because I was a kid and I was just taking pictures of random things, but I can't imagine the stress and the pressure that would be on you if you were a professional photographer back during the film days, because you had to get that shot just right. And I'm so thankful that we have digital photography now, but I still think it would be interesting to do a challenge like that, where I limit myself and say, I can only take this many pictures, no retakes, no different tries. Because a lot of times, the pictures that I share on here, you know, I share the ones that I like the best, or that I think came out the best. But a lot of times, there'll be 3 or 4 different angles from the same statue, or different takes on the same statue. And then I'll pick one of those that comes out as like, oh, I like this angle. I'm glad that I did this. But it's not usually the first one. It's usually the second or third one. Just because it takes a lot of time to kind of build up and make sure that you got the right angle, make sure everything looks right, and the first couple are kind of test shots. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that in one of the upcoming videos, where I'm going to limit myself, and then I'm going to see how good can I actually do, and then maybe I'll make it an annual thing and just see if maybe I improve year over year, because that's the ultimate goal of this channel, is just to improve year over year and share my journey with all of you guys. Sometimes you have to do some crazy angles to get a good shot, or a shot that you're looking for in particular. So I had to actually get down on the ground and lay down for a shot of a little angel that I found over there. And then over here I found some flowers. I'm not going to have to get down for these, but I've been really enjoying getting pictures of flowers in cemeteries. And I found, whether they're real or fake, there's still a lot of really cool ones that you can get. So I'm going to get a picture of these, and maybe some on the other side, because there might be sometimes there's some really cool angles and stuff like that you can get. And I've been basically taking those pictures of flowers, other than just sharing them, I've been using them as emotes on the Discord server, as well as in Twitch whenever I stream on Twitch. And coming up, I am planning on doing some Twitch streams that are going to involve doing some research for some upcoming stuff for the channel, so keep an eye out for that as well. Alright, this is the coolest thing. Sometimes the rain can be a real pain, but sometimes you get some of the coolest shots This right here is an awesome shot. There was a double rainbow going on just a minute ago. That was so cool. And this is one of the most complete rainbows that I think I've seen in a while. that right there has got to be one of the coolest shots. I had to switch lenses actually to get this rainbow the way I wanted it. Mostly because the 55 to 250 millimeter lens wasn't cutting it to get the landscape. So sometimes with a landscape shot like that, I just switched to my 18 to 55 millimeter kit lens. Saw the shot in at the end of the video just to show off a little bit about landscape stuff and showing that you can get some great landscape shots even in a cemetery, especially on a day like today. So I think on that note, I think I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching. Check it out. Go down in the comments section. Let me know what the coolest statue you've ever seen in a cemetery is, or one that seemed out of place. There's another rainbow forming as I'm ending the video. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up down below. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification next to the subscribe button so that YouTube knows that you want to see all my videos when they come out live. I try to post at least once a week, usually 2 or 3 times depending on what's going on. This week is only 1. But we'll see what happens next week. I got some big plans coming up, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And awesome rainbow's going away now. So have a great day.